Mình nha. Gần 200 nó nghe dần dần tốt lên. Để tôi kiểm tra.
Đừng đi hả?
Rồi.
Hỏi lại với tao, hỏi lại với tao.
Yêu em chờ được.
Mày đã nghiện, ha ha ha. Quá vấn đề ta.
Trong bóng đêm tí là làm rớt cái ly. Ôi rồi ôi.
Mày đang ở nhà mình à?
Ừ?
Mày đang ở
Tôi
nhà
thấy
mình
giờ
á?
tới mẹ ơi. Thôi đi quá.
Chỉ rồi.
Alo.
Alo,
Hello.
alo, alo,
Alo.
alo, alo.
Mày ở đây là để kiếm view cho tao. Mà đi.
Đừng đi, đừng đi, đừng đi.
Mà không đi đâu.
Má, bắn vô đầu không mà.
Em cho tí
Ham
nha.
ghê quá vậy. Đừng đi.
Tao có đi đâu đâu mà
Mày,
đi. Cứ bình tĩnh có nó.
mày cứ trả thù tao.
Không mày đúng. Người nước đánh đâu á. Không đánh không có đam. Giờ nó phát lại. Uầy. Đồ họa đẹp phết nhờ. Uầy đồ họa
Đồ
đẹp
ngoại
phết.
game gì? Game gì?
Genshin. Đẹp điên luôn mày ơi.
Có đi để tao lấy skin, cái tao lấy skin.
Sáng nay con này khỏe thế. Ok, cho bắt đầu stream đây nhỉ.
Ừ, stream thôi.
Stream
Úp,
đòi thằng Unveil Standing.
xem
Ok,
màn hình, xem màn hình. Ủa, stream YouTube hay là stream đâu?
YouTube.
Được, stream.
Lỡ một. Nhớ tôi chả nhớ cái gì hết.
Có gì
Rồi,
gọi lại tao thấy hay quá, tao sẽ quay lại game với mày.
ok luôn. Cái gì
Tao đang định off game.
Hello, xin chào và chào mừng người đã quay trở lại với buổi stream ngày hôm nay. Các bạn thấy tôi đã quay trở lại
There's still so many places for us to
với cái trò chơi Genshin Impact, và tôi đã tốn rất nhiều thời gian để dọn mộ đĩa cũng như là thời gian để tôi coi chỉ cò. Yes sir. Tôi làm xong cái thế này.
Gotcha. Things are about to get dicey. Hey,
Skin đẹp. Cái gì kiểu đẹp quá, nói hết rồi trái như thế luôn. Game này nhiều tác hại quá.
quietly now. Take it
Tôi
easy.
livestream game này là cái gì đó
Here comes the
truyền những cái hư tật xấu cho mọi người. Cái game không tốt,
Gotcha.
đúng không? Không, tôi nói không bao giờ sai. Cái gì đấy quên rồi. Oh my. Mm. Không thấy gì hết nhá. Uầy, lâu rồi tôi quay lại cái màn hình. Muốn đạt gì đâu không. Nói chung là quay trở lại trò chơi
Ôi,
một pha tán thẳng vào đầu.
tao muốn con thảo thần cho tao
Rồi
đi.
đấy, nhưng mà tao đang cần cái chấn của nó.
Mày roll đi.
Vấn đề là tao không biết. Ask me this. What? Sao? Bây giờ cái vấn đề là như này. Tai quen là cái con mà tôi quên mất là nó sẽ ăn cái gì. Tôi bấm nhanh quá, tôi không quan tâm. Cầu nào nó sẽ ăn gì ta? Có thiếu cái gì? Cái nhiệm vụ này là cái nhiệm vụ rất là khổ sở. Trong tất cả những cái nhiệm vụ khó nhất đây là nhiệm vụ thứ 9. Mười mấy cái con này 4 mà. Nó ăn gì nhỉ? Tôi nấu cái này cho nó rồi. Tôi ôn 13 này. Đây này, không có chỉ số ôn. À ừ rồi. Màu ra nước. Rất đúng thôi. Tôi làm theo nhiệm vụ cái còn nó có đủ. Đủ chắc chắn nó không đủ. Nấu ăn. Ngày xưa Genshin đẹp vãi. Bây giờ Genshin cũng đẹp vãi. Không, thực ra thì bây giờ nó cũng đẹp hơn nhiều hơn.
Vẫn đẹp thôi.
Vẫn đẹp hơn. Mà vấn đề là bây giờ mấy con tướng 4 sao nó phải hơn mấy con sao điên thật hơn nhiều. Có
Cái gì?
tướng 4 sao
Con nào?
còn mới.
Gaming nó không mạnh hơn 5 sao nào đâu.
Tao thấy nó nhảy nó 200.
Hoặc là nó chỉ gọi là đáp đam thôi.
Không mày ơi, kinh mày ơi.
Nó đáp đam thôi.
Không, tao không thấy có con nào ghê vậy đó. Tôi chỉ thấy có một con là nó gọi là nói chung là cân bằng nhất, mà Bennett hoặc không cân bằng nhất.
Mày
Ơi, có giờ có hồi máu là điều đam ổn là nó không phải là nút nữa. Xin lỗi. Không có cái mớ này nhìn trông xịn quá. Cái này khi mà bạn đưa ở một góc ấy, thì nó sẽ giật, nó sẽ có một cái góc để nó giật. Tôi không nhớ của bạn được gì.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the
Ủa mày có làm nhiệm
Adventurers
vụ
Guild.
Tết chưa?
Chưa, tôi chưa để ăn luôn.
Tao cũng chưa làm nữa. Chắc để mai làm á.
Đâu, không xong rồi. Tính luôn. Dài lắm. Sao? Dài như thứ trong đường mà có gì. Rồi, ok. Đang tính làm cái gì nhỉ? Ok, bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ nói một chút về những gì đã xảy ra những ngày trước. Đấy, tại sao tôi lại không livestream Genshin, tại sao tôi livestream ít hơn, thực ra các bạn không quan tâm, tại cũng quan tâm bởi vì tôi là người xem từ những người bạn thân yêu của tôi thôi.
This realm is
Biết là những
Trời
người
ơi.
mát hả, nó phải pháp sư trung mà nó xoay vòng tròn xong tự nhiên tem được chết hết. Ừ. Cái gì vậy? Đúng, cái này là tôi learn hết rồi. Trong lúc mà mọi thứ đang làm thì tôi đã gần như tôi làm hết rồi.
Chắc rồi.
Không còn cái gì trồng hết. Và tôi còn nhiệm vụ trồng cây thôi. Nhiệm vụ duy nhất mà Ờ, tôi vẫn giữ vững được cái tiến trình
Mày.
Lo 12 trên
Mày.
12.
Trời ơi, nhặt súng nữa.
Ok.
Biến từ kia mà giỏi.
Mày đang thì cái nhập skin thì đôi lúc phải thông cảm
Không cảm sao được mày.
cảm biết
Cái
là
này
gì,
nó lắm thật chứ.
nhưng mà cảm mày hiểu không, đó là cách mà chọn. Bây giờ là sự kiện của cái con cừu thì bây giờ tôi xin nghĩ là tôi sẽ cầm cừu để tôi đi khám phá,
Con của tao nó phèn.
nhưng mà vấn đề tôi không muốn chỉ cầm con cừu, tôi muốn cầm con này. Nhưng mà trước tiên thì xử lý cái này không. Bởi vì mà nếu như là bây giờ tôi có tất cả mọi thứ đấy, chỉ có chưa có chấn thôi, và nhiều tôi có, nhưng mà tất cả mọi thứ. Tôi cảm thấy như là cái việc explore với những cái hiện tại này nó không phải là chơi là lắm, cho nên là bây giờ tôi muốn là gì, tôi muốn là thách thức bản thân mình, tôi có hỏi cái gọi là sự cái sự gì đó, yes sir, là tôi muốn dùng cái nhân vật chính của mình, cái điều mà dường như không bao giờ ai làm cả. Họ explore, họ toàn dùng 4 nhân vật, nhưng mà bạn thấy là đi cốt truyện thì chỉ có duy nhất một nhân vật họ xử lý toàn bộ vấn đề là nhân vật chính của người ta. Vậy thì bây giờ sẽ sử dụng nhân vật chính của chúng ta để chúng ta hoàn thành cái vấn đề đấy.
Ôi em ơi, thay.
Đúng vậy, và tôi muốn điều đấy. Bởi vì sao? Bởi vì tôi thấy nhân vật chính của tôi quá phế. Tới quá này là tôi mới lâu ra, chứ không tôi tất cả thấy cậu đấy. Chứ không phải là có vài con mà tôi không bao giờ biết trong cái cuộc đời, tôi còn không biết. Ô, cái này chắc thời kỳ phố cổ tôi mới nhìn thấy được cái in này, lâu quá. Bây giờ là tôi cần cái đồng hồ cho tôi chia linh. Nếu mà sao ok hết thì tôi sẽ chuyển sang con đấy. Đấy.
Quietly now. Take it easy. Game's up.
Bây giờ chia linh đi ra.
Ồ, thấy thương vậy.
Những cái gì sẽ nằm xuống. Với crit down của tôi nó hơi bị thấp. Tôi để cho các bạn thấy được cái crit down này. Không cái cao. Biết không? Bởi vì các bạn là cái con gì ta chết con Nahihi đúng rồi. Nahihi cần cái chấn là do cho nên là
Rồi tao chỉ cho mày game mày.
chấn của nó là như vậy. Thì thứ nhất là nó có thể free là nhất khi mà it's book based on whatever they cannot này thì đúng không hiểu lắm. Nếu như mà cái element fight giống nhau, như là cái dạng element giống nhau thì it not increase equipment damage bonus from the element. Each effect have 3 seconds. Là sao? Tôi chỉ biết là nó sẽ tăng 40%. Đây là cái duy nhất mà tôi biết này. Còn cái mà tôi đang xài ấy là cái này thì
Cái này sao?
nói chung là nó là một cái là tăng crit tôi phân tích cái crit này tăng crit tăng đam mastery nói chung tăng vui nhưng mà đôi giây bởi vì sao
Đâu lên nhìn đẹp quá. Tôi lấy cho mày cái.
nhìn đẹp chứ mày. Tại sao tôi lại không dùng bởi tôi không dùng cái weapon này. Bởi vì thứ nhất là bạn coi cái em của tôi là và khi mà cái book lên là tầm 600 mấy, nhưng mà cái tôi thì dùng hyper mà hyper là liên quan đến con này.
Mày không là Vân Thông à?
Này Vân Thông hả?
Tinh thông rồi, đúng rồi. Tinh thông này chúng ta thấy như vậy.
Đây là tinh thông, cái này là tinh thông đẹp nhất, là đẹp nhất mà tôi từng thấy luôn nha. Đấy là tôi không biết
Đang cần, tao cũng đang cần con Shinobu đó.
Cái này cơ bản nó chỉ thấy building của nó. Không biết tại sao tôi lại vài năm. Nói chung là cái con này cái đội hình này thì tôi cũng không cần quan tâm lắm. Tôi cần quan tâm cái đội hình đầu tiên của tôi. Cái đội hình đấy là đội hình của con Raiden Hogan. Nó là một đội hình đầu tiên và nó là đội hình ổn cho đến khi cái mùa sau mình bắt đầu đủ sức
mất sau mất ra dây Emiko rồi. Banner sau ra dây Emiko
sao có
tao không biết nên có xăng không nữa, xăng phụ ấy cho con lên thần.
Emiko thì cũng căng. Emiko thì sốc mỗi lần lên là 30 mấy k, nói chung là được 100 k đam. Cũng được.
Anh sẽ nhói.
Nhưng mà mày phải có chấn.
Tao không có chấn gì hết đó.
Mày phải có cái chấn con Emiko. Lã mồm mất
Có
luôn.
dùng cái quyển quyển ấy á, cái quyển tăng bậc kích ấy nè.
Không, nó không hoạt động thì tao từng thử, nó tăng những cái chim này.
Nói chung là ta sẽ build cái tem cho cái con
Một
con
là
con Akeka của tao.
đưa như
Tao
nào
đang kiếm cái con tao đang kiếm con Kasuha.
cái thứ hai,
Things are about to
cái
get
thứ
Nó
hai
lấy
thôi.
quất tỏng.
Tức là tao biết ca thứ hai là
Kenhi với Kasuha.
cái thứ hai là con gì nữa?
Con nhảy nhảy lên trời xong đập xuống cái hút gió vào á.
À, ok. Lâu quá rồi, chơi lại đi chơi. Trời
Bấm vào trong
ơi,
vô.
HB, trời ơi, Hiếu Phát ơi, sao mày lại ở đây? À, giờ thì đi sự kiện rồi, ở đâu mà đi tất cả ai đi sự kiện. Nói chung là đi
Cái
lúc này
nè.
35% trăm, bây giờ ba khu vực mà. Thì khu vực này thì vẫn chưa lấy hết đâu, cái thảo thần đồng ấy bạn lấy hết được thảo thần đồng thì nói chung là bạn đâm được hết thế thôi, gì hết. Có cái gì ở trong những bút này?
Thiên quanh đón xuân muôn nơi dân lộc.
Mission, mission. À,
Hãng ơi, xem tao roll 10 roll không hãng?
đâu bật lên cho tao.
Hơi ít nhưng mà xem không?
Được, để tao chuyển sang
Có
được,
10 roll nào.
cũng được. À, vô cũng vô, cũng tối nay tao bày cái sự kiện.
Đây. Nhưng mà gọi là tao mới nổ cách đây 20 ấy nữa.
Không có gì hết, bấm đi ra.
Ra trước. Ừ san, tao không cần.
Rồi sao cũng được, tích phải tát
Ừm,
gì. Tôi nó kìa, chơi luôn chơi. Ừ. Ủa sao mày ít cái đó vậy?
Tao có cày đâu nhiều mày.
À mày không có bị lệch PT nhiều không?
Tao bị lệch nhiều đâu.
Má, tao lệch đến cái lần đầu là tao bị lệch đến tầm 7 mấy lên.
Nhìn là hãng.
Ồ. Ừ.
Con này tao lệch mày à. Tao hình như C2 của nó hay sao á. À, C1. Thế là thêm con Mona nữa, con quỷ này nè.
Trời ơi, mày lệch ít kìa. Trời
Ừ,
ơi.
xong rồi tao ra được con này,
Gì?
con này, con này. Con này C
Rồi,
C1 luôn nè.
nó sẽ mình.
Xong rồi hình như hết rồi hay sao á.
Rồi.
Ừ,
Ừ.
ủa chút
Này,
xíu à.
thank you.
Nhớ.
Ừ. Để rút đúng không? Bấm cho
Tao
bộ
nên
con
build cho
xanh.
con tao có nên build cho con sắc rôn mày.
Sức rô. Không được, sức rô chạy đăng.
Mới có con cung bệnh năm à.
Về.
4 mảnh màu xanh, thiên phú mắc rồi. Bởi level 70 à. Đột phá cần đánh con phong tinh.
Muốn chi vậy? Muốn chi hay sao? Bây giờ nha, một là tôi đi hết cái này, Và tôi cái này dài lắm, tôi biết là tôi đi câu chuyện là tôi đi rất là dài, rất là lâu nói chuyện kiểu cái đấy.
Thôi
Nhưng
rồi để mai đi cốt truyện, mai đi làm buổi tháng chưa?
ừ, cái này thì nó lại đẩy được cái kia lên, cái chili con này này chả biết nó cái gì. Thôi thì có chuyện tên thế mới hay chứ bạn. Có chuyện một tên thì các bạn biết là đi có chuyện nào tôi sẽ cho luôn, tôi sẽ đưa luôn vào chuyện. Là
This world is full.
con Lu nghe nói rất là trầm trầm, muốn một đêm về núi này vậy. Như vậy
Anh Gia Ca của tao có ấy à.
là sao, cái này là
Chắc phải nâng tinh thông cho nó.
tụi mày là những ai dạy cả tên nó.
Mấy anh Gia Ca của tao nó có chấn này. Anh Gia Ca nó có chấn nên tao phải tiêu.
Bây giờ thì cứ offer cái này chứ quốc thì cũng không cần phải lo. Quay cũng không biết là đây có không biết là rôn thế rôn phát nhà đấy.
Dạ. Ra gấu hoài.
Ok, tôi bị mẹ gai này cái gì đấy, có con người welcome welcome bạc qua cái gì vậy. Oh, so cute. À. Uầy, con ấy nhìn dễ thương phết nhỉ? Đúng là ốc sên.
Đấy như vậy hả?
Hả?
Mày nghĩ nó sẽ ra à?
Có cái đô đá thôi.
Tao không thích nhiều nhiều tí rồi mày hẳn thôi.
Không, thế hay nó phải trò cà
À nó
phê.
thú vị đúng không?
Nó mới kiểu bắn bắn này không?
Traveler in Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Ok,
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. We've been looking forward to it.
thực ra là mình đã phải chờ rồi hơn 5 tháng. Mày nói là tao không biết gì. Mày thì hơi căng ấy. Đấy, có thể là 5 tháng, đây mới chỉ là vài ngày thôi.
I can tell, judging by how early you've arrived. But you're actually right on time. The audience
Đây
still
mày,
hasn't started entering the venue yet,
tao
which
đang có
means now is
hai
the perfect chance
hai
for
ý
us to
định.
take you to the best seats in the house.
Một
Wait
là tao
just a
úp cho con
moment,
Gia
I'll
Ca,
fetch the tickets.
xong rồi nâng thiên phú của nó. Hai là tao sẽ úp cho cái con Sukro. Thì mày nghĩ anh làm việc nào trước?
Hôm nay Jk mày đến đâu rồi?
Đến level 80.
Thì úp cho Sukro đi.
Úp cho Sukro à?
Mày nên úp một con thôi. Úp xong con đó rồi mày úp con Sport lên. Hiểu biết tao. Còn không thì mày úp đôi cũng được. Nếu như mà farm artifact thì úp đôi lên. Úp đôi lên.
The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've already reserved your.
Đâu?
Front row seats.
Nó Gia Ca đâu điên rồi chứ.
Là không xít à. Thường thì những cái ghế đầu tôi cũng không thích ngồi nha. Ngay cả xem kịch, xem phim thì ghế đầu tôi không thích ngồi. Tôi
Tao
chỉ
chưa
thích
build đúng cái bộ cho nó nữa.
Review bún bộ, review bộ bóng
Đáng lẽ
băng.
tao phải lên mấy cái đóng băng tăng sát thương, tăng tỷ lệ mà tao
Don't
cầm
mention
bộ
it.
đôi nên
There's
là
no
nó
need
không
to
có
keep
cái ấy.
thanking me.
Mà lúc mà mày gặp con boss thì phải chờ cái đóng băng.
Không biết là nó không đóng băng được nhưng mà
Ok.
đánh lính được, mấy cái phòng đánh lính được.
Hey, Lenny,
Với lại cái chiêu quy nó
you come
dùng
over
đam
here and
được
take a
mà.
look at this.
Tao không biết nữa, tao thấy tao đánh tí xìu.
Mày dụ vô góc
I'll
thì
be right
đánh
there.
mày quy cái.
Seems there's an issue with the stage props over here.
Tao không có
That's
skill,
Helen, my
tao
assistant
skill
card.
issue.
Kiếm mày kiếm
I'll go lend
gì?
him a hand.
Ừ?
Yeah, we'll just go.
Mày phải dùng cái cây tăng sát thương á.
Tao
Mày đừng bảo mày cầm kiếm liên minh à.
cái nào Anemoma Kageguchi vậy nè.
À,
Chưa lời.
delay quá mày ơi, nó bị delay mày ơi. Mày chơi tỷ lệ hả?
Cái gì?
Mày chơi tỷ lệ tấn công tăng sát thương bạo chứ.
Tao không biết rồi. Tao yeah.
Cái cây đó mình chơi tỷ lệ à, mày chơi tỷ lệ tấn công à.
Tao quá mệt mỏi.
6% tấn công.
Tao đã có sức mạnh của Chúa rồi. Oh my.
Con mắt bảo bay trên trời rồi, tao không bắn được nó.
Mày dùng con cung á, mày bắn bắn tí rồi đó. Ui, nhìn đẹp vãi. Ui. Tôi tính lên cái sàn nhảy tôi nhảy tí. Tôi không ai vậy.
These should be our seats. Come on, let's sit down.
UV. Nhìn mắc cười quá. Nhìn mấy món gì cũng tê rồi.
Traveler, maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us. Since we're
Tao
sitting
chỉ đi
together
cái
and the rest
cái
of the
ấy
place
nữa,
is practically empty still.
đi
It's
cái
kinda awkward if we don't say
gia hoàng
anything.
tâm cảnh.
Để
Chắc mai mày chơi là phải làm nhiều thứ lắm á, phải làm nhiều thứ lắm á.
thằng này mày chơi chứ.
Không biết cái game này mai phải làm nhiều thứ lắm á.
Còn bác đồ mai tao về. Tối tao phim.
Tối mày đi đâu mày đi ỉa?
Tối đâu ra phim.
Ừ.
Of course you put this on Paimon.
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry.
Tại sao bây giờ thứ nhất này bạn đi ra ngoài
Tại
đường,
sao?
đi ra ngoài
Yeah,
đường,
yeah.
ok, đi ra ngoài đường ấy và bạn nói chung là bạn vô rạp phim đi, đấy, bạn đi một mình, người ngồi kế bên bạn, xung quanh bạn chẳng có ai hết, và cái điều đầu tiên của tôi sẽ chuẩn bị tất cả mọi thứ để mà bản thân thì nó có thể móc ra và xin thôi. Cái thứ nhất và cái thứ hai thì tại sao bạn phải cần chuyện với một người lạ trong khi mà thứ mà bạn cần có thể đây là một cái phong cách đấy của ngoài tôi không hiểu, nhưng mà cũng cần phải
Mày không hiểu, mày
Be
không hiểu.
perfectly happy
đúng
to
rồi,
show
có
you
thể
if that is what you would like.
Oh,
Đó là hạng béo biết đi
so
và biết
you
nói.
heard all of that, did ya? Boy, you sure have good ears. Paimon thought she was keeping her voice
Đó phải
down.
người xa lạ gì mày?
đối với tụi này là sẽ lại người ta đâu gặp được.
Wait, that's not it, Paimon. Sorry.
Xa lạ gì? Mày biết thân thiện không?
Talking under her breath like that.
Mày thấy cái thằng đó ngầu không? Mày biết thân thiện không?
Mày nhìn cái dáng ngộ đi, mày dám đụng người không? Mà tao gặp thằng nào có dáng ngộ này, tao chỉ sợ nó sẽ đè tao xuống nó móc cái tay ra.
Không có, khi mày bé lắm.
Paimon's got it. You're also here early and sitting in the front.
A friend, you say?
Nhưng mày cỡ
If
2
Mr. Lenny
cm.
would like to be my friend, I would be
Hai
more
mươi
than happy
xăng
to reciprocate.
đút vô.
2 cm.
Oh, so you're not
Hai
friends
xăng.
with
Mày
Lenny
quá.
then.
Tất nhiên rồi, mày chỉ có thế thôi.
Paimon, ride to Fontaine.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of
Tao
your
đi
deeds,
lụm
Mr.
mấy cái
Lad.
cẩm tú cầu anh
And
đào
as
á, mệt
required by polite
chán.
etiquette, I will also
À,
introduce myself.
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet. What an honor
Được
it
mày
is
ơi,
to
tao
have
tao
you
ấp cho
here to
hai
see
con
my
cùng lúc mày
show.
ơi.
Ah, Mr. Linney. I should say it is in fact an honor for
Như
me
vậy là
to
tao
see
phải
you.
kiếm
Nervilette?
bánh xong 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 hành.
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur Nervillet is.
dạ tao cũng không biết đâu.
Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say
Tao
that
cần cái
he's
tên
the
này đi
symbol
đánh
of
thằng ấy không
justice
ta.
and honesty here in Fontaine.
Whoa!
Quyền lực tuyệt đối rồi.
Sorry for being so
Kia
late
là
just now. Paimon had no idea you were such an important person.
kia gọi là cán cân cân bằng. Con kia con mà tôi sở hữu cái tôi triệu hồi là ba con chúc vật hệ đấy, cân cân bằng. Cái con này thì lực tuyệt đối.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so I'm not so special, really.
Kiểu quyền lực tuyệt đối như là sẽ đầu cân tuyệt đối. Nói
Cái
chung
nắp
là
hơi thì cũng được mà khó.
nói chung là một con thì sẽ là làm theo luật, còn một con thì nó sẽ là kiểu núp đằng sau cổ ấy, tất cả mọi thứ. Kiểu tôi đi là chính phủ biết là tôi đi còn bây giờ mới phút đấy tôi quay tay là chính phủ biết luôn đấy. Vậy ra là mình có biết thì mà không quan tâm đến
And
tôi
by
chính
the way, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most
Đạp người
elegant
to
and
mày ơi.
impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later. Otherwise, she may
Đạp
become
người to quá.
flustered.
Tỷ lệ nạp tao như hết thì sao á.
Uầy, cái này là tôi hiểu lý do tại sao nhiều người rất là thích con này. Cả thằng bạn tôi nó từ thích con cu tao chuyển sang thích con Furina, hiểu lý do.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the
Đúng
Hydro
rồi.
Archon.
Livestream bị delay mày ơi.
She sure has a
Nhưng mà
smudge
delay á,
type
nó bị
look on
delay
her
tầm
face.
2 phút này.
Guess she has no idea that you
hơi
saw right
lâu
through
á.
her act.
Delay tầm 1
Very good.
giây.
That is for the best. No need.
Huh? So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro Archon?
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparations, and the performance will start as soon as the audience has made their way to their seats.
Okay.
The show's finally about to...
Quay cái gì đấy thôi. Quay nhìn đồng này.
Oh, they're dimming the lights. The show must be starting. Sorry. Paimon will try to stay quiet.
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epicles. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Trông con này giống như mới tí cẩn về
Hello, everyone.
về
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's just a sign that she's nervous.
kiểu một bớt hiểu không?
Ủa mày chỉ con một cái đoạn đó luôn á hả?
Cái gì?
Hình như chuẩn bị đến giải gọi là giải án hay sao, án mạng á.
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not true magic at all. So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what you will witness on the stage today.
Sao?
Em chờ đi.
Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Điên rồi. Điên rồi.
Good point. That's what makes the show real magic.
Okay.
Without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some
Hãng ơi,
preparations.
10k Hãng ơi.
I know you
10k,
might miss
10k
her,
gì?
but don't worry, she'll be
10k
coming right
một
back
phát
on stage
cái
momentarily. Perhaps
ulti
in
với
an
con
unexpected way.
Alenka.
I'm sure she'll be stealing.
Ok.
Oh, and before I forget, there's one
Đừng
more
lo,
thing I
nó
should
lên
say.
80.
You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye.
Không. Liên tục.
A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless.
Uầy,
Trời ơi. Mẹ ơi.
But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes.
Nó không nổ bảo kích cho tao. Này đi bảo kích thấp quá.
It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do.
Lâu quá, đóng nghe này lâu quá.
Lynette, are you still
Băng
there?
năm ấy.
Don't go too far. We don't want to use
Mấy
up
cột của
all our
mày
magic.
ơi. Cần
Hi,
lắm 20 cột trận.
Huh?
Yêu em cho anh được yêu mãi thôi. Vì sao anh biết là anh sẽ nhớ và nhớ. Và nếu quay lại như ngày xưa, nhưng trái tim em không còn cho anh nữa.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? How did he do that? Paimon didn't see him do anything.
tôi nhận xét nha. Đấy thì cũng không biết là tôi có thể giải thích như thế nào.
Wasn't Lynette inside the water tank? How did she disappear and then reappear out of nowhere?
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic,
Cái gì
we
vậy?
should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than getting caught up in trying to see that which has been intentionally hidden.
Cái vấn đề là tao không phải là tao bị nhìn ở đấy, mà tao bị cái cam sâu ở trong đấy luôn, hiểu không? Tao không thể biết được.
That's right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette reappeared. Amazing.
Thank you.
Không,
Thank you,
cái cùng mệnh
everyone.
hai của
I'm glad you enjoyed that
con mi
performance.
nó mới mạnh vậy ơi.
Đúng rồi.
Cái cùng mệnh một nó không có gì, nó tăng sát thương mặc dù này không có sát thương gì chứ.
I've prepared even more astonishing surprises for everyone here. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure
Tao
many of
nên
you
ấp
are
cái con
thinking that
điêu nào
escaping the
ta.
water tank was impressive, in which case, I have ample time to make all necessary preparations. So, for my next trick, I will require the participation of one lucky audience member.
Hoa lừa dối
Please,
anh
if
không
my
muốn.
assistants could bring out the magical boxes now. There are 2 boxes and only 2 boxes. One is, I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already guessed our next magic trick. A swap. Our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic box. Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see here. Don't
Wow,
give me
13 cái
any
đám.
chance to make a move.
Wow, how's he gonna do this? Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks, or does Lenny have actual superpowers?
The lucky
Nó không
audience
là bọc
member
của
will be
tao,
generated
nhìn
by
đấy.
this random number selector. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even I don't know who will be chosen to participate. Now then, let's begin. Let me see. Oh, row 7C3. Congratulations! You now have the chance to experience magic firsthand for an entire. Please come forward. My assistant will take you beside the magic box.
Và nhớ một ngày như ngày
I'm
xưa,
sorry, it might be a little
nhưng trái
cramped
tim mình
inside, but
không
no need to
còn
feel
cho
nervous.
anh
We've
nữa.
carefully arranged everything for you to be as comfortable as possible. You don't need to do anything, but no matter what strange things may happen, don't come out of the box. If the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up? You might even find yourself in the fortress of Meropide.
Oh, okay.
Có thể ra đúng cái đầu biết.
All right. Before I enter the magic
Đang đứng dưới
box,
nước đó trời.
there is one more thing
Tự
I
hỏi
need
cấp
to
cao.
ask the audience to do. Could you all give me a countdown? Like this. 60, 59, 58. Just
50 là
keep
nó.
counting down. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch
Trời, để đâu
black
là
fog, so I'll be
xem tí
relying on your
nhạc
voice.
thử
Oh,
rồi.
and no tricks now.
Nhưng
If
tao
you
biết một
quickly
bài đó
count from
đánh quyền
60 in
ngon,
just
tao nói
30
thật, bài đó
seconds,
đánh
then
quyền
I'll
ngon.
be in a
Nào.
tough spot.
Thật, bài đó đánh quyền.
Ooh, Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that.
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eyes. You still can't be trusted. Let's practice together.
Cái gì vậy? Bây giờ yêu em.
Come on,
Anh nước
repeat
ước
after
về
me.
em thật nhỏ nhoi
60,
thôi là
59.
em sẽ quay về tiếp tục lời hứa em luôn nói. Nhưng
That's
đó chỉ
right,
là giấc
perfect.
mơ, suy
Keep
nghĩ
it
vu vơ
going.
rồi anh quên.
All right,
Chứ
I'll
người
see
khác
you
đã
all
chiếm
on the
vị
other
trí trong
side
tim
once
người
you've
anh
finished
luôn
Tao
rồi.
counting.
không nghe cho mà
Bao giờ
cái gì
em
cả.
từ trong lời ca anh là ai cũng có bao giờ chứng minh là em sẽ
À
quay đầu lại.
đây.
Em cứ bước đi rồi
Bắt.
dần dần anh không hiểu vì sao anh thì cũng chạy định hướng cái nói chuyện với em thế nào. Đơn giản là người bạn hay biết sao mình trở lại thì câu nói yêu lúc xưa có thấm mãi trong tim anh. Có biết được đâu thay người khác em thì không khó. Rồi cố gắng thất bại
Yêu rồi
vì
đó.
bản thân mình.
Tôi không thể nghe được cái nhạc này. Nó sẽ yêu em mãi trong đầu.
Oh, alright. You look so serious that Paimon thought you might be feeling uncomfortable or something.
40, 39. Mr. Linney, are you all right in there? Is everything ready?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just double checking the direction of the magic. It would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places. For example, midair right above the audience.
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all.
Em
What was that noise? Did you hear it too?
rất là nó kiểu giật tay ăn một cửa đúng là
Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't seem like anyone's worried about it.
25, 24, 20. What's wrong, Mr. Linney? I can still hear you moving in there.
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying to fix it, but it's pitch black in here. I can't tell left from right.
Never mind the decorations. There's no time for that. The show is what's important.
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect. Don't worry, we still have 20 seconds. Hear them counting?
không không phải được em.
It seems things aren't quite going as planned. I apologize, everyone. It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's all right. I know it can be tiring to do such a long countdown. 10 seconds and change is still plenty of time. Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7.
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5. 4. 3.
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0.
Ta-da!
Wow, đi thật. Tôi mình bất ngờ. Ra tôi quá già để tôi biết được cái điều này thú vị. Ôi no.
What happened?
Tội phạm truy nã xuyên quốc gia.
Huh? Is this part of the show? Mr. Lenny, you're going to use magic to fix the stage now, right?
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was still in that box, right?
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers. Seal the exits. No one is allowed in or out at this time.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then those accountable will not escape the judgment of the god of...
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the bottom of this soon enough. Unfortunately, the person who was in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name was Cowell, one of the assistants in Linny's magic troupe. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank, which then caused the tank to fall
Trời
onto the
ơi,
stage.
thấy chưa, tôi nói rồi, mua dây trên Shopee cho lắm vào. Không lên sen đỏ mà mua.
As of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowell in the box, rather than the guest from the audience.
Tôi đùa rồi.
And after an initial search of the area, the guards have confirmed that the girl is nowhere to be found. It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap with the performance. And there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the serial disappearances of young...
The serial disappearances case?
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know the truth. I can see through the whole thing. Really, using such a shallow and obvious mystery as his finale. Did he really underestimate us that badly? I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linny, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
Oh, this all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing girl disappeared after being chosen, did she not? The deceased is one of your assistants, is he not? Now that I think about it, that whole speech about magicians making things disappear was nothing more than a provocation, a bald-faced challenge.
Đơn giản là vì nó không cài được, là cơ bản là vì nó không có gì để chứng minh cả. Điều này nói đều đúng hết. Không phải là đúng hết mà cơ bản là này, bởi vì nó có sự chuẩn bị.
That can't be right. How can Lenny do this? He was in the box on the stage the entire time. We can even hear his voice.
Nó nói này, mày đã qua Shimiru rồi, tại sao mày không khôn hơn được một tí hả bạn ơi? Bất ngờ đâu.
save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linney and his associates, and that you are pressing charges?
I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about formally pressing charges.
Cũng có thể là không có tội được. Các bạn nói chung là tình đi số 1.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she's gonna personally deliver justice.
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the cover of a magic show. Lady Farina said it all.
I mean, of course, my dear people. But what excites me even more than the obvious truth before our eyes is the opponent I'll be facing. That's right. I mean you, Traveler. You'll support Linney, won't you? After all, he was the one who helped you the first time we met.
Tao có thể không lựa chọn đấy được không? Tao có thể không hai thằng đấy và để an toàn.
Then there's no problem at all. You know, the Traveler and I already had a duel the first time we met.
Vấn đề là mày ép tao, không phải là tao muốn gì hết.
But with Linney's help, our little duel ended in a draw. But draws really are the most boring possible outcome.
Cái này còn khổ lên.
So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser. And what better place to hold such a riveting showdown and decide the true victor than here, on the grandest of stages, the Opera Epiclese.
It wasn't a draw. She obviously lost last time.
I understand. Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order. Well, Traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric aside for a moment, I would like to ask you, are you willing to act as Mr. Linney's attorney and defend him in this case?
Tất nhiên rồi, kiểu mặc dù là nhiều lắm nhưng mà nó bảo vệ tao được.
Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both sides may investigate the scene to build their cases and search for the truth. Linney and his troupe are all potential suspects and shall remain within the Opera House. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they have been cleared by the guards.
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this big shot outlander can build in such a short amount of time. I'm really quite looking forward to hearing
Tại sao mày có thể hay tao? Tôi muốn cầm kiếm chém nó lắm nhưng chưa một đi trên đỏ, trên đỏ đi. Trên đỏ không biết còn sống không?
Sorry about everything that happened just now. Were you frightened?
Không.
Of course! Who wouldn't be scared after witnessing an accident like that?
Rồi tao khá lớn. Ra thì cũng bất ngờ thôi.
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. How could this happen? And poor Cal. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, do you think I could possibly be the murderer?
Anh biết được.
I understand. Even I'm not sure what happened, so I can only imagine how difficult it is for you to grasp. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. But if you ask me, the whole thing is mysteries layered upon mysteries, such that all that's left is confusion.
Khoan, nếu như mà cái vụ án đấy là bỏ ngỏ thì tại sao không, nó là đại diện cho công lý mà nó phải biết chứ nhỉ? Tôi hỏi không đéo.
I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not, and I don't know why poor Cal was in the box. As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, I'm afraid I don't have any answers either. If someone tampered with my performance, then we need to figure out what they did. Even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off in just 1 minute.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible. Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier.
Mua
Pretty
hay
cool,
mày
huh?
đồ như là hỗ trợ.
Don't worry.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette.
Ngoài đấy.
That's the right attitude. Feeling depressed isn't going to help me now, but with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynette and I to prove our own innocence. Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys. Thanks for that. We'll be counting on you.
Các bạn có thể đưa
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, just leave it to us. Oh, since we're going to start investigating, Paimon has a question first. Where did Lynette go during the performance?
Ah, well, I'm afraid that would involve some of our essential trade secrets as magicians.
The secrets behind our magic are past saving, Lenny.
I suppose you're right. The truth behind our tricks is going to be important evidence that will be weighted during the trial. 'Tis truly a pity. As a magician, our magic show is a work of art. We've poured countless hours and spared no effort in perfecting it. But if revealing our secrets will help you uncover the truth behind what happened, then it will be well worth it.
các bạn đúng, bởi vì hầu như tất cả những ảo thuật sư đi đều che giấu những cái màn ảo thuật thì có như bãi sống luôn mà. Tôi thấy đấy là một điều đúng, một điều rất là hay ở những người đấy, bởi vì thật sự những người tuyệt vời hy sinh về nghệ thuật đấy mới là những người tuyệt vời này. Bảo vệ tất cả mọi thứ, để những cái gì mình tạo ra, ý chí, kỳ hơi lì.
We should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks. We'll go speak with the guards, and in the meantime, you can go investigate the stage and the seating areas.
Bởi vì tôi từng gặp một chú ảo thuật của phát lôi từ trong tai ra một chú lúc đấy tôi kiểu tôi vỗ tay bạch xong rồi chú cho tôi nguyên đồng xu luôn, vãi trường rồi vứt đồng xu đấy vào trường này. Đấy là lần đầu tiên mà tôi hỏi với cách làm sao thì lên con sẽ biết, lên không biết.
Alright, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Detective Paimon is on the case.
Về luôn bẹo.
Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina mentioned. Listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'd avoid getting mixed up in this whirlpool of a mess if I were you.
Huh? What do you mean?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linny's assistants named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe long, he was hardworking and everyone generally liked him. The assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting the props, as well as assisting with the show and keeping the crowd engaged. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box with Cowl inside it. This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find any traces of the girl. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pyrotechnics on stage, causing them to snap. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard to see this as a mere accident.
Yeah.
If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned, and Linny is the most likely person to have access to all these areas.
Uầy, trẻ trẻ thế. Chứ không phải vì nó mua đồ trên Shopee à. Tôi suy nghĩ đến cái trường hợp đấy thôi. Tự lừng danh. Một.
But he doesn't have a motive.
Cái để coi nói gì.
Both good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're good friends, but we've known each other for a little while.
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince you to act as his attorneys.
Đừng ấy. Được.
I know there's no such thing as magic. The real trick of a magician is holding the audience in the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell you that people are the least reliable kind of evidence. Sorry, I tend to be pretty straightforward. Just know that I'm warning you for your own good. Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to come up with some new evidence.
Có thể. Trời ơi. Ôi. Có thể nó là một cái thuốc mới. Tôi không biết. Tôi không ngu lắm. Tôi phải đi học.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after.
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move then?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation. What were you saying about the number selector? There's something wrong with it?
You're trying to help them? That'll be a tall order.
Này. Đi lên học ta đi.
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine, so we had it taken away for further inspection.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that same number, and I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a trial or some performance. In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Linny reserved our seats for us too.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Ok, còn cái công việc nữa rồi
Even
có
though
thể
it's
nào
bad
cho.
for Linny's case,
Cảm ơn anh đã hợp tác nha. Thì nhớ cái đợt nó 5 triệu. Không có gì đâu bạn, nó là một cái gì cũng
so this is the rope that broke and the rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different material!
hả? Đây này nó có khoảng cách này.
Most of it was
Well,
taken
well,
away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. Wait, why would you write all this down?
Có đây à? Mày thì chắc không cần đâu. Nó bắt tôi này. Ông chịu chui được vào trong.
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, it just so happens, if you find any new and interesting leads, be sure to share them with me, alright?
Sao?
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it. And I'll start it with that loud thud.
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Lenny's trick with bated breath, so no one paid it much mind. But now that the incident has happened, the thud has become an important clue.
Có thể không biết người đấy
That makes
biết
sense.
không?
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Lenny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
Wait, wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing. Oh, that's true. I suppose...
That does remind Paimon.
Cảm ơn anh của đời này rất nhiều. Từ rõ ràng sự công lý chúng mày sẽ phải không được. Ok. Chắc để tôi nói chuyện sau. Tôi sẽ nói chuyện với anh. Nhối. Lên đâu? Ở đây, đây này.
What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troupe members are currently considered prime suspects. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list. Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will publish it later anyway when we petition the public to help us find the missing person.
Okay.
Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a bit of a name for herself. Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see the magic show. The Magic Troupe members all claim not to know her, and we have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troupe at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
Hay là không ra vẫn chưa được kết luận.
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us. It is of utmost importance that...
Ok. Đấy là gì ấy, còn nó phải... Tôi không thể làm thám tử được mà ơi. Tôi làm thám tử chắc tỷ phú bắt cóc đưa ra tôi tìm. Hello.
Lenny's still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
Ủa, này vẫn là inside à? Phải tưởng tôi bị lừa.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now.
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue the truth. No? And by the looks of it, you're not from Fontaine.
Well, you're right on the moor about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it.
Tao có thể gọi mày bằng cái tên đơn giản này.
And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Those who play by our rules call me boss.
Tao có thể gọi mày là người Navi và xanh.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs
Là
and
nhà
affairs
Batman.
are under my purview.
Ok.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the names?
Biết nó có thể là
Well, I am the second generation president. Malus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine.
Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. Now, back to the situation at hand. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind.
Really? We think so too! That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition.
wow. Con mắt thứ ba kiểu ngày xưa có mấy cái meme nó không phải mấy cái meme theo kiểu là khai phá con mắt thứ ba bạn sẽ được chua ngùng các thứ kiểu wow.
Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she? But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away.
Có thể là nó chỉ là xuất hiện chỉ để là tức là có thể.
Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Cái gì vậy? Tự nhiên nó sắm chừng.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon.
Dạ, tao không tin nó.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times, but liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her. All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine.
Wait a minute, did that answer count?
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
Tôi không hiểu câu hỏi này. Vì tôi không giỏi tiếng Anh để tôi hiểu được cái câu hỏi là yeah.
Well?
And why would that be? See, Silver and Malus? I told you they'd be different.
Đúng vậy, bởi vì thứ nhất là serial, một người serial murder ấy, là serial kidnap thì nó cơ bản nó sẽ không, thứ nhất nếu như mà nó bị tâm thần nó sẽ làm để cho vui, đấy là cái thứ nhất. Và cái trường hợp đấy là nó tính tới, nhưng mà nó không thể nào bằng tất cả nghìn người được, trừ khi một vụ trường mà nó còn lôi kéo. Nếu như cái thằng đó mà là serial kidnap ấy, nếu như nó là serial kidnap thì nó sẽ không thể làm được, trừ khi nó bắt luôn con này, nó bắt luôn của nhân vật chính, từ cái việc này thôi, rồi là nó lôi kéo con này đựng một cùng luôn ấy. Nhưng mà cái điều đấy là không thể nào, không có nào muốn biết như thế này, bởi vì lâu lâu bắt khóc một đứa rất là kinh rồi, thành cái đô thị mà không thể nào. nào nó được, mà nó còn có em nữa cơ.
Most astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, the trials that go on stage here must be based in fact. And if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Maloose. Anyway, I like your answer. You passed with flying colors. Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
Có thể là
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant, sure. Or your companion if you like.
đi là đi.
I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth. You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances. In this...
You have a point. You're quite the talker, aren't you, mister?
Mà mày cướp hết lời của tao rồi.
And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on your mind.
Không, tao chỉ đi để bảo kê bán lương thôi.
I have nothing to add.
Oh, alrighty then.
Ok, và tiếp theo như này.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Lenny's tricks.
Paimon has never had dim sum at Shinue
Ủa, không
Piers
biết cùng
before,
là
but it should be quite the feast for sure.
người nào đi luôn.
Ooh, and that's Paimon's stomach right on cue telling her it's time to go find Gami. Let's go!
Thế thôi. Chúng ta đây mua trà sữa cho ông anh thì không mua trà sữa được.
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the moment. If you wish to leave, you must register your identity with us first.
No, we're not
Tao
leaving.
vô danh.
We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes. After the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much opportunity then, either.
How can you be so sure,
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached the door, I would have noticed it, let alone if they had tried to leave. We Melusines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
Giờ tao sẽ tin mày vì mày.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have left through here. Alright, thank you for your help. This will be useful.
Coi thử cái kia coi nó cái lỗ không chứ làm sao mà nó bốc hơi được cái đó là cái investigating cái con cứt kìa.
Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we?
Tôi đã hiểu.
Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Cái gì? Này là view trên cao. Go! Go! Nó có đường lên không? Không biết. Từ từ để tôi lên cái ghế để co khó.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making...
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
Yes, so.
You've arrived. Who's this?
Nabi, man.
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem,
I've got the firepower.
Nó có súng người là bi này hơi lạ tí.
Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Call me Navia. I'm a partner of theirs, and will be helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along.
It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
Thực ra những cái này thì tôi chỉ cần tập hút ở đó gần như.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below
Tại vì
stage.
các bạn sẽ biết là tôi sẽ kiểu
Yes. Oh, but before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
Rồi mở ra thì tao mới biết được.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Huh. Weren't there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't notice anything.
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
À,
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box.
thì thằng mẹ này đi. Giấu đồ gì vậy?
Most of it as soon as you saw this place. The 2 magic boxes are positioned right above the 2 entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose of the box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
Ok, bây giờ để tôi cho nó có những cái lập luận ở trên đây. Được ra,
So that's how you did it!
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the time she walked out, she would already be back on stage.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end!
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who.
hả?
And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
What the fuck? Uầy, sự thật chỗ nào?
That's how it all worked! Wow, every detail you revealed was more...
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. and then I walk out of the other end in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would.
Tôi phải coi lại mới được. Còn này quá ảo. Không chấp nhận được. Ảo quá, ảo quá. Tôi không được. Từ nơi tôi đang coi lại. Ok, được, tôi chấp nhận, tôi mẹ bắt lên có.
As you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
Được.
Really don't know how
Được,
that
tôi chấp nhận ở đây.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you... And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime. Are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you know.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Này thì có thể là con này lướt rất là nhanh. Bởi vì như thế này, cái này là nó đi bằng than này, và cái kia nó cũng đi bằng than, thì cái mà vấn đề tôi hỏi là cái thợ này nó nâng lên kiểu đéo gì. Nâng lên nó làm cái gì. 60 giây là đủ quá rồi.
What's this? Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Mình thấy khu này giống như cái kho đồ.
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Vì đây có thể là nơi một cái nhà. Tiếp sau đây cuối cùng. Rất là tốt. Okay. Không, cái này là tôi rất phụ.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear.
Oh.
And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Học qua về vấn đề vật lý. Sắp tốt nghiên cứu cái áo rồi.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right?
Oh.
Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them? Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Mày thì tôi tao không tin là nó cởi con này trần chuồng đúng cái hobby vậy tốt thật. Vậy thì phải có một chỗ để thoát ra, không thể nào được một cái ống thông gió, chỉ có cái ống thông gió thôi, không mà vô lý như thế được. Nó thoát cho mình kiểu chỉ Tây Quảng Đô có thể nằm sau bức tường nhưng mà vẫn chuyển một người ống thông gió, có thể làm họ ngất trong vòng
What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
Cái này là đủ để tao nắm đầu nó tao lâu đi rồi. Mình biết vậy.
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up.
Sao không để biết được đường nào.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement.
Xuống đấy một coi ở
The
kìa.
guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
À, có giấu con này cho cái ven thì sao?
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both... No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward...
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides. That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Neuvillette called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment. Which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa! There's no need for that. Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Chỉ nghĩ là ăn là con.
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Đầu tiên tôi cũng trà.
Just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
Bánh cũng là snack mà kia, tại sao lại như thế nhỉ?
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
How?
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Mày có một cái nhà bếp luôn hả con?
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Bố mình lại chịu luôn rồi. Chấp nhận, tao không có lời gì đâu.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a
Trời
moment.
ơi, cái gì thế này?
These three are quite the interesting group.
Nó nấu luôn cái gì?
And Paimon thought it smelled good from the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around. Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process, but you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks.
Tại sao nó lại không dùng hoa và thường chiêu hai đánh thường, chiêu hai đánh thường, chiêu hai thì thường, chiêu hai đánh thường, chiêu hai thường không chiêu một đánh. Có thể là
Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack.
okay.
Give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Có thể.
Tea is ready to be served as well. No need for concern. I'm merely doing...
Mà tại sao như vậy?
All right then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber.
Vậy.
However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines.
Đúng.
The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
Cái vấn đề là cái game này cái mặt con nhân vật NPC nào cũng giống nhau hết, thế nên là bây giờ đổi đồ là nó thành một NPC khác, hiểu chưa? Đấy là lý do nó đổi đồ. Trời ơi, sao mà tôi ngu thế nhờ, tôi không nghĩ đến cái trường hợp đấy.
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off.
Để không cần bắt cóc như thế, nếu như mà như thế thì không đổi được bất lộ đấy. Nếu như cái tôi nhé, tôi ở đấy tôi rủ họ, và cái thứ hai khóc hát thì nó sẽ dễ dàng tự nhiên trong cái buổi đấy để cùng ở đấy rồi, cái lực lượng an ninh của nó rất chặt, nhưng mà về ngoài khóc ngoài rồi xong đấy, nếu như mà thực sự nó tự lực không. Yeah.
Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great!
They are my specialty after all. And I see you.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest!
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you?
Tao không thể tin mày được bởi vì nó
If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach!
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Lelouch, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorney, it would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right, thanks for your help, and for this.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, it's time. I'll be back with the help.
cay vai.
It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to prepare. Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Không ghê lắm.
Starfall!
Đi ngắm phá tí bạn. Cà. Rồi vậy thì chờ thôi. Lâu gần đây về là có thể dưới nhà kho mình viên từ từ còn mình
What do I do? The whole situation is so confusing. Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Như là bây giờ đi bếp. Có thể không phải 10 phút đâu, 20 phút đâu.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to.
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed.
Không phải empty lắm các bạn. Đây mà.
That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated folk...
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
Check âm sao?
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Cái
The
gì?
House of the Hearth?
Thì có vấn đề.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Đúng vậy.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy.
Bởi vì nếu như mà nó làm được bắt cóc ấy, nếu nó bắt cóc bởi những người đến basement thì cái vấn đề là nếu như nó tác động lên những người đó thì nó không thể nào sử dụng sức mạnh đến từ hai cái element. Bởi vì đầu tiên nó lấy đi rồi, không? Đó là cái level thứ nhất. Thứ hai là gì? Thứ hai là nó không thể sử dụng cái sức mạnh của nó để mà ép một người được, ngay cả khi có công ty luôn. Bởi vì thứ nhất là nhìn đi nó không hề cơ bắp, và cái việc nó cường ép một người nhập lịch không thể nha. Và cái thứ hai, nếu như mà ở đấy phải đánh mất thì đấy vẫn có xảy ra, bởi vì chúng ta cần nhiều thời gian để mất một người, tầm phút giờ chẳng có thể, còn 1 phút thì vẫn có thể sống được, nhất là khi mà họ biết là họ bắt cóc nữa. Nó làm quyết liệt, ngay cả cái việc là chết đi thì tôi mà bị trộm vào nhà ấy, tôi sẽ rất quyết liệt trong này. Thì cơ bản nếu như mà áp chế cho con súng thì chịu. Nếu như mà riêng tôi thì tôi trả thức tiềm lực của người rất nhiều, nên là không thể nào được đấy, lực lượng của tôi chỉ đến thế thôi. Còn 1 phút thì tất nhiên là 1 phút là không thể.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny! Why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that that's it, we might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Để bố mới nói.
In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
Mồm bố mày. What?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Tao sẽ lập ao dày.
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Và nó bụng chỉ có nhìn.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Thì vấn đề gì, phán tôi hay là cái gì? Không còn. Nói thật, ngày xưa ấy thì phản diện, nghĩ là phản diện là xấu xa lắm, kinh lắm. Phản diện nó muốn phải có một cái lý do để phản diện, không thể nó cứ phản diện như thế được. Nên là với tôi thì nguồn gốc không quan trọng tiến trình của bạn. Nên bạn thay đổi như thế nào, bạn chấp nhận nó thế nào, đấy mới là cái quan trọng. Chứ không thể nào quan trọng được nguồn gốc của bạn được. No, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Mẹ gì mà tôi nói nghiệp không được. Thực ra thì cơ bản là bây giờ nó như thế này lấy niềm tin. Bây giờ về sao tin về cái người bạn của mình. Đấy, và tin rằng là mình phải tin rằng là nó vô tội, mình chứng cho nó, chứ không phải là bây giờ mình ngồi mình nói chuyện mình lấy niềm tin với nhau, mình bắt đầu nhau. Mình tin đúng rồi.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer first, and no...
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Vậy là cái con đấy rồi kiểu quá liều, ở kiểu quá liều, quá ngu, và tôi với quá ngu thì bắt cóc Wilson để làm gì?
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Tao tin vào sự thật. Này, sự thật nó là cái đéo gì?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense. Huh? Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Thứ nhất này, nếu như mà nó cho tôi chọn ấy, thì tôi sẽ phải đưa cái boy ra trước, và cái thứ hai là tôi sẽ phải giải thích là tại sao nó nghe được cái boy, tại sao nó để được cái vấn đề kia là thứ nhất là nó sẽ loại bỏ được thần, và cái thứ hai là nghe được cái boy, nghĩa là cái diện tình nghi không phải là nữa, sẽ có một người khác đấy là nó sẽ triệt tiêu được hai con đấy. Nhưng cái boy thứ hai, nghĩa là cái boy mà nó việc mà cái thằng này của Fatui ấy, thì nó cũng không liên quan lắm, nên là nó không thể nào biến thành em được, thế nên nó sẽ hòa đấy, chỉ cần hai cái đấy thôi, có thể chỉ cần hai cái đấy thôi.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial.
Okay.
When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Là sao?
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Lenny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowl's death would be ruled an accident.
Why?
There you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina?
Key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Lenny experienced and what he saw.
Sao không gì? Thứ nhất là he head into the chamber, not where his planted place. When left in the order during the show after incident, and only there is the positive. Remove his clothes when cái này thì phải liên kết với cái này rồi. Thì tất cả đều chống lại bọn này hết đấy. Cái này là sao ta? Không hiểu. Cam hết từ đầu rồi. Rồi. Là sao mày? Cái này làm gì mà biết được? Làm sao?
According to Lenny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
À, thế là cái này đúng.
Seems
Ồ, đây hiểu. Xin lỗi các bạn.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This
Cái xích biến của cuối này sẽ là cái này. Ủa? À không, cuối là nó lao lên trên luôn.
Lenny did not take part in the underground altercation. He
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
Ngầu.
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Đúng vậy.
Oh, they have a point.
Sao mà không nói đâu đi?
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Kèo, ăn đi.
Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask?
Nó đi super mà.
You're saying that he wasn't?
Đó, cái này là sao? À, không được dùng.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the
Ghi lại,
performance.
ghi lại, ghi lại.
This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Nhất này. Một, mình đang nghi ngờ con nhỏ này. Thằng cha này thì không thể nào.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or could there have been a third person?
Chỉ có thất bơ trần thôi. Không thể nào
The
được.
deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant.
Là
Halsey
con
is the
này.
missing person. The deceased's name is Cowl.
Tại sao?
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cowl, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Không hút được thằng kế bên. Nếu như nó là thằng kế bên thì nó từ các là lại này.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear that she would attract. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and... Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which it would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. No one entered or left the...
Oh.
No one entered or left the opera house through... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. Linny was not in the tunnel. Halsey's clothing was in... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. It would have been tough for both people to... The deceased's name is Cowl. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So... Halsey's clothing... No one entered or left the opera house. Linny was not in the tunnel at... Halsey's clothing was... Linny was not in the tunnel at... No one entered or left the Linny was not in the tunnel. Halsey's clothing...
Instead, one.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from—
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely.
Tại sao mày không kiểm tra 3 đi?
It's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Bình tĩnh.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. It would have been tough for both people to... The vase was not broken by chance. It would...
Mẹ đấy lừa tôi cay thật.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
Vấn đề là cái thực tại của mày nó có một thứ gọi là gì đấy? Cái cục gì đeo đây này, quên mất rồi. Đấy, và đấy nó mới là vấn đề đây.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Kệ nó.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Cái bãi nước đấy là cái con nhỏ đó. Á đù, hai lông lên.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
The deceased's name is... Now it seems like the hook... The water from the primordial... The rope that's stronger...
I see.
The rope that's stronger... Lynette was in the magic box on stage. I remember there was something else within the inner layer. The water from the primordials...
Okay.
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Và tôi cũng không nghĩ là gì đó thế.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person?
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What? That can't be. Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close. Lenny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Lenny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a vicious... Am I right, Mr. Lenny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Nào.
I can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this.
Mày có thể nghe được một phía chính diện như thế thôi à. Trời ơi.
Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view,
Excuse me, everyone, but I must
Miss, I must ask you not to shout, and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Come on, don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick, one that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Lenny, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry, Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowell. I admit it.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Lenny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey! No wonder you look familiar! So you were the thief! Lenny even mentioned that you were pretty skilled!
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box.
There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective.
Thấy chưa, lúc đầu tôi nghi ngờ có đấy là đúng rồi. Là có bình ben đúng không? Đây cái này.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Cái này.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian was afraid.
And it's Ace Detective time on time! Having been selected, her panic only intense
Nhanh đi mà rơi
did not know that mistakenly believing that the two broke the flower vase during this with no way of escape.
Vậy là thằng này vẫn là duy nhất, nhưng mà cái vụ việc mà gây ra cái accident nó còn lại là thief, mà chắc chắn là
She would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings.
Why?
From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Ok, mời trên mời từ bạn bạn tôi liều mẹ là
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Tại vì ngay cả việc là dùng cách đấy để mà nó cái thằng này thì nó cũng không thể nào hoàn thành được cái nhiệm vụ nó là tăng cái mực nước lên được. Nếu như một cái nhiệm vụ của nó là cần phải tăng mức của con lên, nhưng mà tại sao nó cứ nghĩ nhiều cái khác đi? Nó chỉ có một thằng đấy thôi. Why? Thế vì có thể rằng sự một vụ ám sát, đúng không? Tại vì nó là photo mà. Why not?
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Cút luôn.
So, we're just going back now?
Vậy thôi. Ngày chưa tắm rồi.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past.
Trời ơi, cái phần một này nó dài. Rồi, tôi sẽ nghe.
Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
I guess. Đừng quá đắt. Người chơi ác này.
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
Nothing.
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the knave, has their roots in Fontaine. And to us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
Bye,
Hmm. Cái địt mẹ mày Genshin ơi, đứng sức quật. Thôi thôi, cháu thể nào cơ bản là gì? Game này là game 13. Game 13 tập và nó đề cập nạn nó không phải bắt cóc mà là tệ nạn buôn bán và mại dâm.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too? Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah. I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all.
Yeah.
Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too.
Yeah. Tao vậy người.
It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal. Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later.
Cô mình đi tắm, ta đi ăn không được. Biết bây giờ là 1 giờ rồi không? Kết thúc rồi, chúng ta có thể đi ngủ một cách yên lành nhỉ?
Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm if Boss Navi is treating Camp Paimonin!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
Alright then, let's have our farewell meal!
Quả này là bắt cóc phát đỉnh luôn. Tức thì nói về những cái vấn đề này thì nó rất bình thường, nhưng mà về nó lại dành cho trẻ 13 tuổi trở lên thì tôi không nghĩ đấy là một cái chuyện bình thường. Tại vì sao? Thứ nhất là như thế này, 13 tuổi trở lên là ngoại trừ độ tuổi của tôi ra đi thì có thể là độ tuổi ở dưới, ví dụ như là dưới tôi một bậc lúc đó là lớp 10, nhưng mà lớp 15 tuổi, 14 tuổi, 13 tuổi, nghĩa là từ 7, cái lúc đó bạn chỉ đang phát triển thôi. Và cái vụ việc này ấy, tức là nó không gây nên một cái impact nào cả, nhưng mà việc cài cắm cái ý nghĩa này vô ấy, tự là nó quá đắt. Bởi vì sao? Nếu như mà cái sự việc đó nó tồn tại, đây nó vẫn đang tồn tại nhầm nhơ ở đời thôi thì là mình không biết, nhưng mà cái việc thực sự đây là cái điều đấy thì cái gì cũng thấy ok đấy. Bởi vì sao? Bởi vì tôi lớn rồi, nhưng mà với những đứa nhỏ thì muốn tìm tòi, muốn tìm hiểu cái chuyện kiểu là muốn tìm hiểu đấy, mà nó lại tìm hiểu được này quá sớm. Vì sao? Bởi vì khi bạn còn nhỏ, hãy vui vẻ với những cái kiến thức mà bạn không có. Bởi vì một khi mà bạn đã có những cái kiến thức đấy rồi thì bạn sẽ không bao giờ vui vẻ được nữa. Vì thứ còn lại trong cái đầu là sự thật. Thì bạn biết là kiểu mỏi. Vậy thì kết thúc một buổi đi bếp dài hơn 3 tiếng đồng hồ. Bây giờ mình là người ở trong buổi stream làm sao? Bye bye.